Hey guys, just gonna put this little video out. I know I just released a video about the sun filament, and there's some other interesting things regarding that same filament. A Class M solar flare has popped off of a sunspot next to the filament. When you start getting into the M class flares, next after that is an X class flare, and once you get into X class flares, every time one happens, you need to be concerned. And this was right in the center of the M range. Uh, this is pretty, phenomenal. I'm going to say right now. But I just want to show you a couple things. This is my, basically my family room, living room, and this entire room, in the event of power outages, this is controlled by my solar panels. And I have a battery bank out there, 8 golf cart batteries, 6 volts each, times 8 is 48 volts. I have a 48 volt solar panel system. This particular one ties into the grid, so when the sun's out, it actually is feeding back energy into the electrical grid. Of course, I don't have enough wattage to do my whole house, so it's not like I'm getting a check from the electric company. But I do get a cheaper electric bill than everybody in this neighborhood, I'm sure. But I decided, you know what? I've never really put a strain on the system like at night. What if there was power out right now? The sun's not out, therefore I have to use the batteries. So I just went ahead and shut off the breaker on the solar panel system. Just a little bit of a different video than you're used to hearing, I guess, at least to start with. So that TV, any electrical outlet in this room, I'm not sure about those lights up there and the ceiling fan, but every outlet, the TV, all that stuff is connected right now off of this solar panel system, which basically means it's running off these 48 volt system golf cart batteries. This is where I do my videos. Listen to this bozo.
I would take that. I would totally accept that with a smile on my face if I would be wrong about these things.
Who's that bozo? So anyways, this is where all the magic occurs. See that? Those are tacks, thumbtacks. This is realist news right here, son. Let me tell you something. This is getting her done. Cheap. There's my dad's dog. Let's let him back in. So, basically, outside here, there's not really a lot of light out here right now, of course. This is the company by the name of Outback. Really good product. This is the actual inverter and grid tie system. These cables go directly down to my battery bank, which is basically these golf cart batteries sitting down here. There's 8 of them down there. This device is a charge controller. Also has cables going directly to those same batteries. And basically it charges when the sun's out. It is putting all the power I've got, which I have 1600 watts. Although in reality, in any solar panel system, it's about 20% or so less than that. So you would really expect about 1100 watts, 1200 watts roughly of real true power that you'll actually have. So as you see, that little green light to the right is on of that orange cable. It's telling me now that there's no power and it's using the batteries. Otherwise, this light would be on, and it would be just basically using the grid. It just bypasses this system at night when the sun's not out. That way you're not wasting your batteries ever. The batteries always maintain a constant charge during the day. And let's see what we got here. Looks like it's at, oh, it's not showing on that one, just 49.6 volts. When that gets down to 48 volts, I have this thing set to shut off and stop using the batteries, because at 48 volts, the battery charge state is approximately 50, we're actually right on 50%. And if you can keep your batteries from going below 50% and keep them always charged up above that, they will last a lot longer, and you can take them up and down charge cycles, and they'll last a good while, potentially a couple, 2, 3 years or whatever of doing that, even possibly daily. If you bring it below 50% charge, or below 48 volts in this case, then you risk the battery life being drastically reduced. So I realize mine's at 49.2, but at the same time I've got my TV on, I've got my computers on. So there's going to be, if I turn those things off right now and then come back out here, it may push back up to 51 volts or something. And I realize I said it's a 12 volt system, so 12 times 4 is 48. So you're probably wondering, how could it be 50% charged if it's a 48 volt system? Isn't that 100%? No, because the battery is actually 12.6, 12.7 volts, which if you do the math, actually it ends up being 52 volts or something like that, which would be fully charged. Or it's actually 51.8, or I don't even know, whatever. Something crawling around out there. Anyway, so I just wanted to show you that. There's my, I don't know how good you can see that. That's my hydroponic garden. I've got 3 rows of those 4 you see right there, 1, 2, 3, 4. To the left of that, I have the same exact thing, 2 more rows of those. So I've actually got 12 sitting there. Each of those pots can actually do 4 crops, depending on the size of the crop you want to grow. But depending on whatever it is, you could get away with up to 4 per pot. And there's 5? I have 5 stacked. Basically, it amounts to about 240 crops. So, anyways, I'm gonna go do the video now of this filament and the X-class flare. There's a video that you can actually watch, and I think I got this damn camera way too close to my face. And if you see this little bump and cut right here, I was dozing off a little bit on the recliner earlier today, and my 20-month-old, it's almost like if she even thinks that you're like dozing off or about to sleep, she'll go over there and like twist your toes, like she's like she's twisting your arm. She'll go over there and twist your toes, and then laugh, like she's tickling you or something. But it ain't a tickle. She's like twisting your toe off. So she has this little plastic drum thing she's banging on, and she isn't really messing with me about it until I look like I'm dozing off, I guess, and then she dropped the thing right on my face because she was standing next to the recliner and was like, here, play with me, I guess, and the thing landed perfectly right there. My tooth's behind there, so of course it fattened up right away. But anyways, I'm going to do this video now of the filament. Alright, we have a solar flare, as I mentioned, an M-class flare, and it says sunspot 1112 erupted today at 1900 hours universal time. A bright hot spot just north of the filament's midpoint is UV radiation from the sunspot 1112. The proximity is no coincidence. The filament appears to be rooted in the sunspot below it. If the sunspot flares, it could cause the entire structure to erupt. And then it says update. Today's M1 flare did not destabilize the filament. In other words, the filament is still there. Didn't collapse. Which just goes to have a little more credence or whatever in that 87-day cycle, being that somewhere around October 25th, 27th or whatever is that 87-day period, the renewal period for it to happen again. So this filament is still on the sun. It did not collapse and go away. A lot of times, as I mentioned, kind of the a solar flare might pop off or whatever, and it causes the filament to just collapse on itself, like implode onto itself, and then sometimes after it does that, or right when it's doing that, it'll produce a flare or just some kind of outburst. In this case, it popped off an M1 flare, which is a pretty decent, M-class flare is not small, but it didn't collapse the filament. What are the chances that this thing's going to stay or react violently and hang around for the next few days, week and a half, whatever? Next thing you know, we're right on that hot date of October 27th or so, and then it collapses, or due to some other activity or whatever, causing these outbursts I was talking to you about in my other video. So it says stay tuned. However, because sunspot 1112 is growing and more activity is possible in the hours ahead, readers with solar telescopes are encouraged to monitor developments. So as you can see from the stuff behind me, what the sun basically looks like with that massive filament in it or on it, and you can see the video of it. I'll play the video now of it. Basically, the M1 flare popping off of it, and that's about it. So talk to you guys later.